Hello, hello. Perfidious Pete here, ready to sprint headlong into Overwatch in another thrilling episode of XCOM: The Long War. Because, hey, let's face it, sprinting headlong into Overwatch, it's what I do. And, well, for once, maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing. As you can see, the aliens have really got shop set up in South America, and they are camping that shit like it's the bathroom in the original Counter-Strike. They've got Mexico squatting in a tub at gunpoint, and if we plan to break in there and rescue that hostage, we're going to have to withstand some pretty withering firepower if we want to lead them to safety. And speaking of withering firepower, on our last episode, Colonel Nanook Hafner AWP'd a small UFO over Australia. So, nicely done there, although he did take a few days of damage, which was less than optimal, but we dealt with it with some transfers to sort of cover things up. The mission itself went a little shaky at first. Jeff Goldblum was staggering around like he was channeling the spirit of a drunken Dudley Moore. Got the team in a little bit of trouble early, but fortunately for him, Specialist Jean-Claude Van Damme was there with his glass-encrusted fist to save the day. He strode into the breach astride a speeding pair of semi-tractor trailers, legs akimbo, and began pummeling the aliens like they were Bolo Young and had just killed his best friend. It was a pretty impressive feat. Jean-Claude didn't miss a single shot and brought down a number of UFOs and enabled us to capture an outsider. So for JCVD's first performance, man, did he really knock it out of the park. Of course, if his film career has taught us anything, it's that first shot is always going to be his best, and after that it's pretty much straight downhill from there, so we'll have to keep an eye on Jean-Claude. Nothing else really going on in the base, so we're just going to go ahead and get to scanning. One thing I do want to mention, we do have a council report coming up in like a little over 2 weeks, and the panic situation in Mexico we're going to have to keep a close eye on. We do need to get a satellite up over Mexico, but we want to do it as soon as we can before the beginning of the council report. We want to allow as little time between the launching of the satellite and the council report as possible, just to make sure the aliens can't stick in a terror mission or something after we've lowered the panic and then raise it back to the maximum that would force Mexico to withdraw. So we're going to have to play that a little bit cagey. But right now, really what we need to do is just start scanning, so let's get to work.
Contact detected.
We have no interceptors. So we've got a low alien contact over Japan. We have nothing to intercept it with, so I mean there's really nothing we can do. With luck, we might actually get this transfer to complete maybe before the alien finishes whatever it is they're up to.
Commander, the council isn't
sorry,
going to be
no
happy
dice
about
there.
this. We need to protect our satellites.
I'm not exactly happy about it either.
coverage.
If we had some competent pilots over Asia, we'd you know what? I'm completely disregarding Central. I no longer give a shit. This is actually a really good offer, and we're absolutely going to take it. We have quite a bit of alien alloys, and we've been getting a pretty steady supply of them lately, so I'm comfortable with this trade. Scientists, very valuable. So we're going to make that trade and pick up 2 extra scientists. And then it's just back to scanning.
Aircraft transfer complete.
Yeah, complete too late to do anything, punks. Alright, so we got some Aegis armor complete, and I'm very excited about that. We'll finally have some armor that will allow some of our troopers to withstand a hit. As long as it's not a critical, they should be able to hold up. That's delightful. And it looks like Alien Power Systems is nearly complete as well. Alright, so Alien Power Systems also finished. What does that get us? Delirium Generator, which honestly I'm not too terribly concerned about that. Our power situation is adequate for the moment. Alien Nucleonics. Oh, that's just basically the scavenging project for Illyrium. Not really very excited about that. UFO tracking, however, quite excited about. That's very good. Gives us a much higher chance to pick up UFOs that are operating over places where we have satellites and places where we don't. So we're going to want to do that as quickly as possible. And improved arc thrower is an absolute must. We want to get that done again as fast as possible. You know what? UFO and transport analysis, I'm actually good with that. We can knock that out in a day. So let's just go ahead and put Dr. Valen and the crew on it. And apparently,
appreciate your efforts to support the research.
yes, I'm
team,
aware. And
Commander.
apparently the 2
I've already
scientists I
put
just
the new
sent you,
recruits
Dr.
to work
Valen,
in the lab.
actually know how to do their job because they can do this research in 1 day. So unlike the delivery men and, you know, other people that we've recruited for your project, which honestly at this point I'm mostly convinced are experts in the field of snuff films, these guys actually know what they're doing. So maybe that 2 scientists was a good pickup for you. Back to scanning then.
Commander.
Oh, you know what? Actually,
our satellite is prepped and standing by for launch.
Oh, that's
we are
nice.
ready to deploy it on your
So we have
orders.
2 spare satellites, which is good. We're going to use one of those at least to do a base raid, but we're going to probably, again, wait on that until just before the council report. But this does give us an opportunity to head down to the foundry and begin those projects. We want to make sure and get those started as quickly as possible. Improved arc thrower is an absolute must. So we're going to start that one, and honestly on both of these, we don't really care about the cost. For both UFO tracking, we don't really mind whatever they want to take. As long as we've got them in stock, we will spend them. Those are both very valuable
I'll make sure
upgrades.
production begins immediately. And as soon as we've got something, I'll be in touch.
Yeah, whatever, Dr. Shin. It's going to be 400 years before they're complete, because that's the speed at which you complete every project, so don't be surprised if I'm not overly enthused about your assertion that they'll be quickly done. Canada wants a satellite. I'm going to have to say no, considering you're offering 2 engineers, and both of those satellites effectively are already spoken for. Alright, so there's our next bit of research, so we are now better at intercepting transports. That's fantastic. What do we got for options? Pulse lasers, 10 days. Advanced power armor is actually pretty interesting. Very slow, though. Ooh, alien propulsion. That's very tempting, actually. Very tempting. 50 Illyrium, which is a heavy toll, but we actually have a pretty reasonable supply of Illyrium, and weapon fragments, I care less about them than I care about Dr. Valen and Dr. Shen's lives, which is to say not at all. Plasma weapons also interesting. Oh, very slow, 18 days. You know what? I think we probably are going to go with pulse lasers. 1, because it's the fastest, and 2, because almost all of our interceptors are equipped with laser weapons, and this will help pump up their damage a bit. So let's go with pulse lasers. And then it's back to scanning then. Would be nice to get our other Warden troop. We could actually then take 2 mechs on a mission. 16 drone wrecks for 2 engineers. Nah, we need those drone wrecks, actually. Consumables are made out of those, and we're going to need some eventually for battleships. I'm actually very tempted by this. Very tempted, actually. A new tactical corporal would be very useful. Problem is, I'm still concerned about having weapons available for secondary waves in our base defense if we get a base assault. I'm still going to have to go with not now. Although that was a very good offer, China. You almost got over the bar. It was pretty good negotiating. Seriously, it's like almost like your recent G8 performance. It was tempting enough that we really considered it. And I'm absolutely not trading you 2 UFO power sources. Not even for 2 scientists. Which, honestly, on that, Mexico, the sweeter part of that deal. Gonna have to go with no. And we've got abduction mission then. Okay. Where at?
Commander, we've picked up multiple requests for assistance.
Alright, so we've got
Abductions in
light
progress are marked
abductions
on the
in
holograph.
Russia, which, honestly, I'm okay with this. Well, I mean, I don't really have a choice as an abduction mission, but light level of UFO activity shouldn't be too much of a problem, and this is going to give us an opportunity, once again, to give some of our, I don't want to say bad troopers, because there are no bad troopers, except for Tara Reid, of course. Tara Reid is definitely a bad trooper. But there are no bad troopers, they're just less experienced troopers. And this is going to give us a chance to, you know, maybe help combat some of that lesser level of experience. So for a mission leader then, honestly, as odd as this may sound, I think unless the urban close quarters, I wouldn't mind taking a sniper. But it's not going to be a good field of engagement. You know what? Actually, urban close quarters, maybe we could get Rihanna on a roof. Let's take Rihanna, despite some slight misgivings here, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So she has her Kestrel armor now, which may allow her to grappling hook up to a position where even in an urban environment she could still provide some solid damage output. So we are still going to take her. Now for infantry, I don't feel that either Sean Penn or Lindsay Allday Lohan are going to be required for this mission. We can probably get by with something a little less impressive. And I'd prefer not to send George Clooney, if at all possible, because he's actually one of our officers. Well, here's a thought. What is Clooney's aim like? As I recall, it's not overly great. Oh, it's 77. You know what? We're going to send JCVD. The guy didn't fail a single task that we assigned him last mission. He was effectively perfection. So let's see if he can keep it up. Let's see if he can maintain his level of performance, or if he's truly going to be much like his film career and just sort of spiral down the toilet after an initial impressive performance. We're going to need to make items available because I don't see the Slim Shady Memorial Slug Slinger anywhere on the list. Aegis armor for JCVD, that may be overselling a bit. Let's keep that for someone who's going to be in a little more danger. We're going to go with Phalanx armor for JCVD, and then of course he is going to wield the Slim Shady Memorial Slug Slinger, and it's going to be a scope and a laser sight to complete JCVD's kit. And he is then solid. We do want a gunner, of course. Probably don't need a Paris Hilton level of investment here, or honestly a Joss Whedon level of investment. Let's go with Megan Fox. So of course Megan going to be a constant distraction to Jean-Claude on this mission, because it's a well-known fact that Jean-Claude has a tender spot for the lovely ladies. But he's just going to have to really learn to focus himself and ignore the siren song of Megan Fox's shapely shape. So Phalanx armor, Gauss machine gun, scope, alloy bipod, and that's got Megan kitted and complete. Probably wouldn't hurt to take a medic on this mission, and honestly I think this is definitely a job for John Leguizamo. Now, you may be saying there is really no job well-suited for John Leguizamo, and in that respect, you would be 100% correct. But we're going to send him anyway. So, JC, well, old JL, I guess. Not to have Jean-Claude Van Damme on the brain, apparently. I just can't stop talking about the guy. You know what? We're not going to give him a Gauss rifle. His aim is just too shitty. We're going to give him a laser rifle instead. He needs all the bonuses he can get in order to try and contribute something offensively to the mission, although it's not really why we're bringing him. Still, wouldn't hurt to have him aboard. So we need then a scout and an assault trooper for certain. And of course Jaden Smith, true master of time and space and all things philosophical and ethereal, no longer requires experience, as he has transcended beyond the mortal form and has gone ahead and just shot straight up to godhood. He is officially your new deity. Bow down before him. And as such is no longer necessary on missions. He's simply too good for him. But I feel that this would be a good opportunity to get the immortal madman Reb Brown into some action. Reb Brown is going to be taking some Aegis armor because he is going to live up to that name. Reb Brown is 100% unkillable. And it's going to be a flashbang and an arc thrower for Reb Brown. So that's got Reb sorted. Let's get an assault trooper. And Matt Not Today Lauer is looking tempting, but also, you know, I actually really like Jonathan Slick Shoes Ki Kwan. He's faster, he's got a better will, same health, not quite as good of aim, but it really doesn't matter a whole lot for Slick Shoes. He does wield an alloy cannon, so it's not hugely problematic. So we are going to take Slick Shoes. He's going to take some Aegis armor. Of course, he's going to be toting our other alloy cannon. And for Slick Shoes, then, it's going to be breaching ammo, in case of Berserker, break breaching ammo. And then we are also going to give him an arc thrower as well. That leaves us 2 units to go. One of those units is absolutely going to be an engineer. And is Jesse... Jesse Tool Pusher James is back in action. So I think it's time for Tool Pusher to get the call. We are going to gleefully fling Jesse into the fray. And Jesse is going to be toting our Gauss carbine, of course, to help combat some of his movement troubles. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to change something very slightly. We're going to be in an urban environment. And for Slick Shoes, actually, rather than the Aegis armor, I'm going to give him the Banshee armor. It buffs his speed, and you can do some very clever and creative things with that grappling hook, having Slick Shoes drop down on top of the enemy. With close combat specialists and close encounters, he can do some very interesting things from rooftops. So we're going to give him the opportunity to sort of be our super flanker. And that'll let Jesse Tool Pusher James avoid any additional critical wounds by toting the heavier armor. Also, that helps us, again, just helps out his speed problem. And for our final unit then, it's absolutely going to be a mech trooper. And as much as I love the Goddess of Death, Taylor Swift, honestly, I don't really feel a Taylor Swift level of intervention is required here. So we are going to take Magic Legs Drake himself. So it's going to be the mech suit for Drake, railgun, flamethrower, alloy belt, weapon gyros, and YOLO is ready to launch into battle. So let's get stuck in. Time to go save Russia. I know somewhere that John McClane is going to be very proud of us for saving Russia, because my theory is that's what happened in the most recent Die Hard movie.
We have visual.
Although I've actually seen that movie, and I know it's in fact not at all what happened, but I'm just going to pretend that the plot in my head is what was actually shot and recorded, because the plot in my head, where John McClane single-handedly saves Russia from a renegade Vladimir Putin, way better than the actual plot of, I don't know, what the hell was it, Die Hard Another Day or Live Free, something like that. Who gives a shit at this point? Talk about a downward spiral. I mean, we talked about Jean-Claude Van Damme's career, but hey, while Bruce Willis's career has remained strong, you gotta say the Die Hard franchise really has taken a pretty steep fucking nosedive. With the exception of 3, which I feel like it's sort of a bad rap. Anyway, looks like we're fighting in what appears to be a bank. Not sure we've ever fought on this map. Wait, is that a bank or a gas station? It's like a bank. Well, since it is bank, I don't think we've ever fought on this map. I honestly don't.
Copy, Big Sky.
One thing I'd like to point out to our troopers, though, since you are at a bank and we're a little low on funds while you're here, consider robbing the joint. I'm not saying necessarily rob it, but, you know, think about it. There, maybe get that new ping pong table for the barracks. Maybe pick you guys up like a pool table. Throw a sweet party. Think about it. Opportunities. So we're going to have John Leguizamo scan this alleyway here, see if there are any aliens down there. If there are not, we'll probably move in up here to this door. Alright, so that's definitely going to be our area of assault then. We're going to come in, sort of pincher maneuver from both sides. And it looks like we actually have a pretty clear approach. I'm very worried about laterally moving this way, however. Let's take someone who we wouldn't have any problems with moving twice if we do pop a pod. So that'll be Red Brown, of course, our fastest trooper. There is a meld canister over there. 2 meld canisters, which is very tempting. I'm actually kind of want to move Reb again. But I'm not going to. Discretion is the better part of valor. And by that I mean it always pays to be more conservative in XCOM than it does to be aggressive. Aggressiveness almost always gets you in trouble. And if there are meld canisters over there, you can absolutely bet there are going to be aliens camping those canisters. I'm not sure if this is going to be a safe move. I'm actually effectively positive that it's not. I'm still going to take the risk.
Good to go. Alien object in sight.
Alright, well, that's unfortunate. But not necessarily a huge problem, because that sectoid commander is likely to mind control someone. And I'm actually not overly worried about that. But not a great shot for Rihanna. Hey, can you maybe grapple up there in a single grapple? Ooh, you can. So why don't you grapple up to the roof there, Rihanna? And then I would like for you to rain some pointy bulleted death down on Mr. Mechtoid Commander's head here. So why don't you shoot him right in the eyeball. Or fire wildly over his shoulder in what appears to be some manner of warning shot. That's also good. And by good, I actually mean not good at all. That's actually terrible. And right now I'm wishing actually that we had brought our Shogun, Justin Alpha Dog Timberlake, instead of Aubrey Drake Graham. Because in this situation, Timberlake do some really fine work for us here. So we have an interesting opportunity here with Jonathan Key Kwan. If we do the run and gun with Key Kwan, are we going to be able to kill that commander? I honestly think the answer is no. We don't have a whole lot of units left to move. You know what? It's going to depend all on what Jesse Tool Pusher James can do. If he could get a grenade... No, he's just not going to have enough arm. Alright, so Jesse James, not going to have the arm. I was going to say if he could blow up that car, I would actually be willing to risk it, but it's just not worth it. So it's going to be Overwatch for JCVD and Drake. And Slick Shoes, then, is going to take a dash move over here behind this full cover. Sorry, Jonathan, I know you wanted to try out your latest gadget, but just not a good chance for it. Now, those guys are not popped. We just happen to know where they are. I'm very interested in what this guy's going to do. My guess is he's going to mind control someone. No, he's going to... Yes, absolutely. So, Rihanna is mind controlled on the rooftop, which actually not a terrible problem, because that Mechtoid is almost certain to be killed. So where is Red Brown? Alright, Red Brown is actually in a pretty good position. Capture on that guy would be quite a coup, but too risky. Don't pop a pod. Alright, thank you, Reb. Wait, what's... Oh, yeah, we don't necessarily want to kill Rihanna, Reb. Just shoot the alien. Huge damage and a critical. Well delivered, sir. And honestly, I feel that Drake will have no problem finishing this shit stain off. He's just going to walk up and shoot this guy straight in the mouth. Actually, Jonathan? Oh, he can't quite get there. I would very much love to capture that guy, but with Rihanna mind controlled, we can't afford to fuck about. So it's going to be dead, Commander. And no more mind control than for Rihanna. And seriously, overkill is the only sort of kill. We drastically overdid it there.
On the move.
Well, let's move Megan Fox up to this corner cover then, and she's going to hunker down. Now, we do want to get some supporting units, and of course we do have a Berserker still back there, which really we should probably keep an eye on that guy. It just seems like the smart move. We'll move Jonathan Keyquan forward. He's going to go on Overwatch for us. JCVD is going to advance. I love the fact that JCVD actually has the words VD right in there. I mean, is apropos much, honestly. And that leaves John Leguizamo, who I really don't want over by himself with the potential to spawn a Berserker. So let's just get John to safety. And then we can keep an eye on these guys. It looks like they're just going to loiter in this back corner, which I'm perfectly comfortable with.
Got something over here.
Okay, so we have another Muton pod and a Berserker. Should have a little Overwatch here, and honestly, I don't foresee a problem with taking that Berserker out of action with the troops we have available. Jesse James showing the young Jean-Claude Van Damme, although I think actually they're probably sort of an age. But he's showing them how it's actually done. So Jean-Claude Van Damme finally missing his first shot. No longer batting 1,000, which is a shame, but them's the break, John. So it's going to be a double tap then from Megan Desert Fox. One hit and a critical. Will she resist the panic? My guess is yes. And nice close combat specialist shot from Drake himself. Right in the head. Solid shot from Drake. And Megan still has one shot to go, so here comes the double tap half. And that's going to be a dead Berserker.
Kill confirmed.
Indeed it was. Nicely done. So Jonathan Keyquan could fetch us some meld. That's actually a very interesting proposition, but I'm not sure I'm ready to move forward and engage that particular Muton yet. So let's have Red Brown pull a Sneaky Deaky. This will call out any Overwatch that's waiting, and Red Brown, of course, loves the Sneaky Deaky. So some meld for the Rebster, and then the Rebster just going to reassume his old position, fall right back into line. What kind of shot does Keyquan have here? Fucking terrible one. Two terrible ones, in fact. And I may have just called him Jean-Claude Van Damme. And if I did, I'm actually apologizing for that, Jonathan Keyquan. That's totally not cool, man. Totally not cool. Why don't you go and collect another meld canister for us? Because seriously, we are really desperate for meld at this point. Oh, and there was a Crouching Tiger hidden sectoid back there. So once again, my habit of charging assault troopers into Overwatch is, I mean, fuck, it continues unabated. I just can't not do it, even when I'm actually deliberately being very, very aware of it and cautious. I still can't stop myself. I'm like an addict. I mean, seriously, I need help. If you know a program or anything anywhere, honestly, I'm very interested.
Covering now.
Wouldn't mind seeing what I could do with a Jesse James style grenade. We're going to spread these troopers apart, however, because I am worried that having them too close together will actually draw a grenade in turn from the Muton, and very eager to avoid that if at all possible. Also, Drake may be able to do some fine work for us here with a little bit of flamethrower juice. So let's bring that forward. Yeah, this is going to be real unfortunate for these aliens.
Engaging hostiles with fire.
Purge the alien with fire! So they're going to panic, and that's going to take care of things. Of course, Robot's immune to panic, but honestly, I don't... Oh, no, actually, floaters can panic. I was unaware that that was even a possibility. So, Rihanna, why don't you jump down, then, and see if maybe you have a shot at that floater? Yeah, you do. Alright, well, go ahead and take that. I mean, it's not a great shot, but a shot's a shot, so... Fill it in. Rihanna driving nails, of course, because, unless I'm mistaken, Chris Brown was in the neighborhood, was he not? Oh, no, we have John Leguizamo on this, so... Sorry, I didn't mean to slight you, Leguizamo. That's totally a Chris Brown thing. He's the one that normally keeps Rihanna in line. Why don't you just go on Overwatch, and let's see how this Muton reacts. My guess is hunker down. So he is calling for backup, and here comes our other Berserker, but no surprises there. We knew that guy was over there. Just means we're going to need to be a little bit careful with how we handle this. And honestly, I'm thinking, actually, this may be a job for Jesse James. Yeah, that actually looks pretty solid, Jesse. I'm sorry, bank manager, because this is going to really cut into your SG&A for repairs. I mean, I hope you got some good insurance. That did quite a bit of devastating damage, which I'd say I'm sorry, but honestly, I'm really kind of not. We do want to try and lure this Berserker back. We just need to make sure that he won't be close enough to get a punch in on Jonathan Keith-Long. So let's go ahead and pop him. This is going to bring him his reaction move. And our goal is going to be to try and force him to run around this corner into just a withering hail of Overwatch fire.
Heading to that location.
We're going to fall back with Jonathan Keith-Long. And honestly, I actually don't want you to take that shot, Rihanna. I want you to go on Overwatch instead. Leguizamo, similarly for you, I also want you back here on Overwatch.
Roger that. On Overwatch.
And for the Rebinator, that's going to leave Jesse James, actually, in how many tiles is it? It should be enough. We're not taking any chances with Reb Brown, and... Oh, that's not at all what I wanted to do.
Come get some.
Alright, Reb, fall back, buddy.
I'm on it, Commander.
And it's your job to cover Jesse James. Megan Fox actually has a shot at that guy. Yep, you're still going on Overwatch, Megan. Sorry. Equan, why don't you sneak up here and cover Drake for me? You actually have a shot as well. We might actually have been able to kill that guy. I'm being abundantly cautious here, but honestly, I think we actually may have had a chance to take him out. Alright, so we've learned a thing about Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's that when he proactively shoots at the enemy, he's lights out, but his Overwatch fire, not so good. Age is catching up with old Jean-Claude a bit, and he's lost a step or two, I think. His reaction's not quite what they used to be. Which would explain why he failed to properly react to the script for Expendables 2 and signed on board for that shit. And that's actually a rare miss from Megan Fox. Are you kidding me? Once again, Berserker charged through a wall, and I gotta say, I'm getting real fucking sick of this bullshit.
Negative damage.
I was actually concerned that this might happen. Nice misses, guys. That's probably going to be lights out for Jesse James. Nope. Not a kill. Just going to be a long hospital stay for Jesse James, who honestly can't seem to avoid the infirmary. Oh, he has 1 health. 1. 1 health, folks. 1. Alright, so Jesse's going to fall back then.
Commander.
And he is going to lob a grenade at this gentleman and expose him. Seriously, 1 health. That's very close to a huge problem. We really don't want to lose Jesse James. He's one of our best troopers. And very unsurprising, actually, there, that Jesse James might choose to panic. The fact that he also panicked Rihanna is honestly unacceptable. I tend to agree, Rihanna, but you're the one who panicked, so... It's going to be up to Megan Fox, then. 9 damage, and she's going to double tap, so here comes the alien a little bit closer. And no reaction fire from Jonathan Keith-Long? Come on. It doesn't matter. Rihanna just going to stick her gun in that guy's mouth and straight up yank the trigger, so no problem there. Now, we do have a problem in that Jesse James is very, very grievously wounded, and there's like a floater or something still running around somewhere. So we are going to send Slick Shoes down to cover. We're going to have him watch the rear. Oh, okay. That explains why the no return fire. All right, that actually wasn't Jonathan Keyquan. I'm actually less perturbed by that now. So let's have Red Brown also sort of go cover the flank. He's going to overwatch.
I feel, Commander.
Is that JCVD? Yeah.
On the move.
He's just going to readjust here and also reload. And honestly, I think Drake could probably afford to sprint. Let's run him down there. I believe there is just one unit left, and we're not overly terrified of whatever that unit might be. Fairly light resistance here. John Leguizamo can't... I want to have him heal Jesse James, but he can't even get there in a single move. Ah, John Leguizamo, you are a bitter, bitter disappointment, sir. You know what? That's a lie, John Leguizamo. You're not a disappointment. You're exactly what I expected, actually. I guess the disappointment arises from the fact that I was hoping you wouldn't be awful. But clearly that was a foolish hope. I mean, I shouldn't have expected anything else, really. So Rihanna's going to move and reload. Honestly, we probably ought to have Rihanna headed to the rooftop. And you know what? That actually may be a good idea for Jonathan Keyquan. Can you grapple anywhere, John? No. Alright. Well, I'd rather not have you going around the corner first. Let's have that be a job for Red Brown in the event of Overwatch.
On the move.
So the Rebster, and there's our floater. That bastard is camping like a champ, but I think Red Brown's got his number.
X-ray neutralized.
Yeah, that's right. That's what happens when you mess with the immortal madman, Red Brown. Operation Blind Empire, a fallen empire for the aliens. That one turned out for them just like it turned out for Palpatine, which is to say, not well. They got thrown straight down the shaft of that reactor. It didn't go well for them, guys. Also, why would you put the shaft of the reactor right next to your fucking chair in the throne room? I mean, that just seems like terrible design flaw in a Death Star. Not that the Death Star didn't have many terrible design flaws, because fuck, why would you leave a unshielded port that went straight to your reactor for one fucking bullet to take you out as well? That, I mean, seems equally stupid. But still, you would think that when the first, well, you would think when the first Death Star got destroyed by a critical design flaw, when they rebuilt it, they would have at least did one revision pass on the plans and maybe said, you know what, we took care of that whole exhaust port problem, but I can't help but notice there's still a bottomless shaft in the Emperor's throne room that leads straight to the reactor. Should we maybe put some deck plates over that or something, guys? I mean, am I the only one who sees this as a danger? Has OSHA not said anything about this? And then there was like one guy in the room. And he was like, no, it's fine, we'll put up some fucking railings, it'll be, that's all the code requires, there's no deck plating needed, that shit's expensive. This is the Emperor's throne room, it should be dramatic and cool. Giant gaping pits guarded by very low railings, it's fine, nobody's ever gonna fall down that. Plus, you know, it gives the Emperor a chance to kick people down that hole if he's had enough of their bullshit. And then the original guy went back, he's like, but, you know, what if Darth Vader turns code or something? You can just chuck the Emperor straight down there, and then our whole galactic empire is going to fall the fuck apart. This is a terrible plan, guys. And then his boss came in and just said, John, you're fucking fired. Get out of here. We're tired of you naysaying the plan. This is what was been approved by corporate. This is what we're going to proceed with. We've already started construction. It's too late to change it now. Get the fuck out. And then they fired John, and he, like, wound up as a moisture farmer on Tatooine, moved into Luke's uncle and aunt's old house. I mean, it took him a long time to get the stench of their burned corpses out of it. He had to scrub a lot. But he finally did get it, and eventually died miserable, bitter, and alone. But he did die vindicated in the fact that the Emperor got chucked down a shaft. So, I mean, he had a terrible life, and things went bad for him. But he did die happy, because, you know, the Emperor was waiting for him there in hell when he got there. At any rate, I think that was quite my longest ramble yet. My psychosis has maybe exposed itself just a bit. But let's go ahead and get these promotions taken care of. John Strings Leguizamo. I don't really think that name's going to stick, John. I mean, it's just not. I'm going to tell you flat out. That's not appropriate for you. You're going to take smoke and mirrors, though. Smoke and mirrors we really like. More battle scanners, more grenades, more smoke. So, you're sorted. Megan Desert Fox, a promotion that we are quite excited about. Bring him on. Good. Resilience, very interesting, actually, for Megan Fox. Will to survive is frankly absolute trash. So 4 aim and 4 will, 4 resilience, and being immune to critical hits with Megan Fox's health and some decent armor is actually going to make her quite tough to kill. Not a lot of weapons that have a 9 base damage. And she's almost always going to be in cover, so that'll again further reduce that. Bring him on is interesting, but Megan Fox as an... since she's using the squad side ability most of the time, is going to have a penalty to criticals anyway. Probably she would be best served by Resilience. Just for the extra aim and the extra will are actually big benefits for her. So let's go ahead and go with Resilience. And that's got Megan Fox now at a 96 base aim, which is fantastic. And her will at a 58. We may actually submit Megan Fox for psychiatric evaluation to see if perhaps she has some latent psychic potential as well. JCVD, nice to see him earning the promotion he absolutely should have earned on his first mission. Highway fucking robbery, Jean-Claude. I apologize about the oversight. It was a tragedy of justice. I mean, seriously, it was a wicked oversight. I can't apologize enough. Your first mission definitely earned you that promotion, and we're gonna make sure. I'm gonna make it up to you, buddy. I promise. So that's everyone sorted then. Let's take a look at our loot here. Looks like just some random trash. 7 meld, however. That's I say random trash, but with the exception of that meld's going to hold us in good stead. That puts us pretty close to our goal, actually. Only 12 shy of upgrading our mech suit. And Optimus Prime, once again, reminding us that he is a huge fan of Rockwell and that he's going to be watching us, so we can always feel like somebody's watching me, because Optimus Prime is, in fact, watching me, so... Is it strange to feel like somebody's watching you when you, in fact, know somebody's watching you because they constantly tell you that they're watching you? I'm not sure if that's strange or not. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, feel free to drop a like down in the comments section. Your support really does mean a lot to us. And if you'd like to see more daily XCOM, consider subscribing as well. We'll see you again soon.